Having side hustles is the best thing that has happened to me in my financial journey, in my time while I was working in the corporate environment. Like, side hustle literally saved me, if not. Right, okay, so let me just get right into it. So I did a video a few weeks back on how I lost my job and how I created a 7-figure business. I'm going to leave that in the description box down below, so you can go watch it. So you can just go watch it and just learn about how I started my journey and how I survived like being laid off like right in the middle of pandemic. So when I was doing my corporate 9 to 5, working as a business analyst, I was also doing my clothing brand on the side. So evenings, weekends, I was literally sewing away. So when I first started, I used to make all the clothes myself, design, create the design, make the clothes, package it, ship it, doing like literally every aspect of the business. I was doing everything myself, and this was alongside a 9 to 5 job. I mean, a stressful 9 to 5 job, some of which were not in the place or in the city I was living in. So there are times where I did, there was a role I did in Milton Keynes and I lived in Manchester. There's a role I did in Bristol where I was living in Manchester. Obviously I had to go stay in those locations for a few like weeks or months or however long the project was. But I always had my side hustle, which is my clothing brand, as a backup. One thing you never want to do is have one source of income, because if anything happens, you're literally screwed.com. Literally. Imagine you have just a 9 to 5 job, it goes away, that's it. No income is coming in, but expenses, those bills have to be paid. Those bills don't go on sabbatical, they don't go on holiday because you don't have any money coming in. They are, your debtors are going to be coming for you. They actually come to the door or they ring your phone. Either ways, you would have to pay those bills. So having a side hustle, I mean, it cannot, like, the benefits of having a side hustle cannot be overemphasized. Now I'm going to go into what I was actually doing, how I was making money from it, and then I'm also going to mention a few side hustles you can do while also working a 9 to 5 job, because you do not want surprises. No job is actually ever guaranteed. Anything can happen. There's highs, there's lows. And this is not only for people that work in a 9 to 5. If you also have a business, you also need to make sure you're diversifying your income. You cannot rely on only your business for survival. If not, I mean, things happen. You always have to be prepared with option A, B, C, and yeah. Anyway, so to get right into it, is when I used to work a corporate 9 to 5, I also had a business I was doing on the side. So making clothes, selling clothes online. I used to sell on Etsy. I used to sell on Shopify. I drove the traffic myself. When I first started, all the models I worked with, they were all free because they're friends that I knew, and I just take the pictures myself. Or I get a photographer to take it and I just haggle the price until I get to the price I can actually afford. So I used to do all of that myself, just finding different ways to promote the brand, to get myself out there, to make the brand known, and all of this while doing a 9 to 5 job. So 2020, I think June or July, right in the middle of COVID, it happened. Now that was not the first time I actually lost my job. Obviously I worked as a contractor for such a long time and you get like surprises all the time. And there was one that was a 0-hour contract where when they tell you your contract ends, it literally ends that same day. And this was in a different city. This was in Bristol or so. And at that time I was also like 5 months gone. I was pregnant, 5 months. And when they said the contract had ended, I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Because that was early maternity that I did not plan for. This was me in a new location. We had signed a 1-year contract. Can you imagine? But I was also like making clothes and all of that. So having that extra income, I'll give you specifics of an average of how much I was earning while I was doing my side hustle. So at the time I used to sell on majorly on Etsy because it's so much easier to sell on Etsy. I've done a video where I did a comparison between selling on Shopify and selling on Etsy, a video on my channel. Again, I'll leave that in the description box down below. You can go check that out. So with selling on Etsy, it's a low startup. You're only paying for the listing fees, but then there's also transaction fees. But the upside to that is Etsy drives the traffic to your shop, so you do not have to do too much. Your added advantage is if you've got a social media platform, you can just link in your Etsy shop to it and you can get more traffic that way. So it's kind of like a win-win situation if you're using Etsy. Excluding the Etsy transactions, it's going to happen. They have to run the platform. It's a lot of money, but it's easier for Etsy to get all the traffic to me than for me to drive the traffic myself, because it's more expensive. Running ads, as you might know, is also a bit cumbersome if you're having to generate organic traffic, because sometimes it doesn't always generate. So I was selling on Etsy and the average I was making in a month was about 253 grand, and this is just from side hustle. Can you imagine? I mean, in the UK, that is an average salary for someone that works full-time. But this was something I was doing evenings and weekends. I know there are times where I would usually like wake up all to like 1 a.m. and then I still have to wake up at 6 or 7 the next morning to get into work. So it was almost like doing 2 jobs. So having a side hustle, it comes in very handy. So that was the major thing I was doing at the time. Now I have a few other things that like generates money for me, but it's not money that I get physically. So I've got like investment accounts, and I do not do it in such a way that I get the money from the dividends. I just let it recycle back and just keep growing it that way. In future, if it's something I want the money to come to me, then obviously something I can make changes to. But those are the 2 ways I was like getting money alongside my full-time job. And when COVID happened in 2020 and I got told, oh, and we need to let you go in a week's time, obviously because of the budget and everything, I was really like, I was shocked and everything, and I was upset. But I think the reason why I did not I wasn't too, because that is something that would literally get someone depressed. Being in a situation in a global pandemic where you do not know what's happening. I know in a few months' time, there are people that employers are said to employ people were doing 2-3 jobs and all of that. But at that moment, at that time, it was a case where I did not know what was going to happen next. Yeah, having a side hustle is like, whether you're doing a full-time job, whether you're doing running your own brand or business, it's always a good idea to have multiple streams of income, multiple things you're doing on the side. So if anything happens to one, God forbid, you have something else to fall back on. You're not left stranded. It's also nice because then you have options. And when you have options, you're less stressed. You have a better quality of life. You're not going to bed and sweating and thinking of where your next income is going to be coming from, because trust me, I've been there before and I know how stressful it is to sleep and then you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do tomorrow? Like, I literally don't have any money in my account. And when I got to that point, I knew I did not ever want to be in that situation again. So I had to look for ways to increase my income, add multiple income streams to what I was earning. So some of the ways, or some of the things you can do, to add more income stream is what the first one, which is a bit more obvious. If you have a small business, or if you're doing a 9-to-5 job, the obvious one is content creation. You can come on YouTube. Now, the options I'm going to be calling is not a get rich quick scheme, or it's not. So it can be fast, it can be slow, depending on how much work you put into it, depending on what type of favor or grace is upon your life. It can just work out that way. Content creation. If you come on YouTube to like create videos and to get into the YouTube monetization program or YouTube partner program, you have to have 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers within a space of 12 months. And YouTube pays from AdSense, so that is a good way to get money on the side, creating videos, sharing your ideas, creating value out in the world, and let people know what you're able to do and just sharing it out there. So that's one side hustle you can do while also running a 9-to-5 job or also doing your business. The next one is actually doing like digital products. So say you're doing a 9-to-5 job where you are, so I'll use the field I was in as a business analyst. There are people that have like tutorials on how to get into being a BA. They have courses online. So courses is something that makes a lot of money and definitely something to look into. They have courses where people are able to go and read up on how to become a BA, for example. They have training programs. So there is a few training programs I had gone in while I was like just to upskill myself. And the guy used to do training like 2 days, Saturday, Sunday. I think it was like for 2 weeks. And it was about £400-500 per person for those 2 weekends. And we had an average of like 10 people in a class. Please, can you do the maths? That's £4,000 in 2 weekends. Saturday and Sunday, £4,000. So imagine you have more people than that. That is good money. So just being able to share your skills, share your knowledge, and monetize it. So doing courses physically or remotely just to get people to pay for it. And the third and final way you can create side income is affiliate links. If you're doing like a 9-to-5 job, or if you have a small business, and obviously there are things you're going to be using in either in your business or in your 9-to-5 job, you can create. So Amazon is like one of the popular platforms that does affiliate link. And what I mean by affiliate link is you can get registered on one of those companies that do affiliate links. You can generate a link, and when people make a purchase using your link, or if they order something using your link, you get a small commission of whatever sale that was made. If you're creating content and you're recommending a lot of the tools you're using or things you're using to run your business or things you're using in your 9-to-5 job, so say maybe your laptop, your phones, or anything, maybe the chair you're even working with, the table you're working with, you can generate affiliate links for those, and you can just put that in your description and just let people know that there's affiliate links, and just let them know you get a small commission of whatever sale you make. And people make thousands every month just from affiliate links. So imagine combining all of this together and how much you're going to make at the end of the month just from side hustle. So again, just to wrap this up so this video is not too long, doing a 9-to-5 job or doing a business is always nice to have that extra stream of income or extra source of income, because it just makes you more at peace. Obviously, you have more money to play about with, you have more options, you're not too restricted. Because if you're saying you want to cut down on your budget, like how much cuts can you actually do? So if you're making say like £2,000 a month and your expenses is already 1,800, and those are like vital expenses, there's no way you can cut down on your house rents. There is only so much you can cut down on your grocery. If you're paying for car finance, or if you're paying for your car, there's only like you literally cannot cut down on that. Your electricity bill, if it goes high or low, you're screwed. If your gas bill goes up, so like those are essentials you have to pay for. Council tax, those are things you have to pay for every month, and you're not even like spending on yourself or doing like frivolous buying. These are major expenses. So the only way to make things better than they currently are is to add more income streams to what you're currently having. Increase your income stream. If you need to change jobs to get more money coming in at the end of the month, definitely do that. If you need to add more income streams, so use your evening instead of sitting and watching Netflix or just binge watching people's content on you can watch the content, make sure you're watching this video to the end. You can watch the content while also trying to do other things, just to get like inspirations and get motivated. But yeah, that's it from me, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the content of this video and you got value out of it, and you're able to pick up 1 or 2 things to use towards either if you're running a small business, or if you have a 9-to-5 job, and how you can increase your income stream and just create a better life for yourself, more options for yourself, and just give yourself more ease, peace of mind, and everything else that comes with it. Do well to subscribe to the channel so when I post any upcoming videos you get notified, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, bye.